When was the last time you all read a book? How many of you actually invested your time in reading? I will let you think about this question for a second. The other day, I had a conversation with my cousin, who was very interested in the movie Maze Runner. But little did he know that it was a book made into a movie. When I said that I read the book instead of watching the movie, he questioned me. What good does reading do? So today, my topic is about reading and what is the good outcome of it. High achieving individuals who attributed part of their success to the power of reading. You most likely heard the saying that leaders are readers or that knowledge is power. This statement should not be overlooked. When even the good book says that my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. So if you find yourself lacking in any area of your life, whether it's spiritually, financially, or relationship wise, pick a good book and invest your mind instead of being consumed by the plague of social media. An American Russian writer, Vera Nazarina, once said that whenever you read a book, good book, somewhere in the world, a door opens to allow in more lights. And that is where the ultimate power of reading lies. It is a tool that enhances self. So, for today's presentation, I will be speaking about the benefits or the importance of reading, disadvantages that is faced by not reading a book, and some of the steps that can help you to become a reader. Carl Sagan said, "One of the greatest gifts adults can give to their offspring and to their society is to read to children." And why not? There are so many benefits of reading. One of them are expansion of vocabulary. The more you read, the more words you gain exposure to, and they'll inevitably make their way into your everyday vocabulary. Being articulate and well spoken is of great help in any profession, and knowing that you can speak to higher ups with self confidence and be enormous boost to your own self esteem. The next one is memory improvement. Now, you might ask, how is that effective when you read a book? You have to remember an assortment of character, their background, ambition, history, as well as various arcs and subplots that wave their way through every story. There's a fair bit to remember, but brains are marvelous things and can remember these things with relative ease. Amazingly enough, even every new memory you create fogs new synapses and strengthens existing ones, which assist in short term memory recall as well as stabilizing mood. How cool is that? The third one is strong analytical thinking skills. Have you ever read a book, an amazing mysterious novel, and solved the mystery before you finish the book? If so, you were able to put critical and analytical thinking of work by taking notes of the details provided and sorting them out to determine who did it. The same ability to analyze details also come in handy when it comes to criticizing the plot, determining whether it was well written piece or if the characters were poorly developed if the storylines ran smoothly. The one is to fourth one is to improve focus and concentration. In our internet crazed world, attention is drawn in million different directions at once as we multitask through every day. In single 5 minute span, the average person will divide their time between working on a task, checking the mails, chatting with different people, and all. When you read a book, all your attention is focused on the story. The rest of the world just falls away and you can immerse yourself in every fine detail you're absorbing. For the fifth, that it increases comprehension. This goes hand in hand in the expansion of your vocabulary. Exposure to published well-written work has not noted effect on one's own writing, as observing the cadence, fluidity, and writing style of other authors will invariably influence your own work. In the same way that musicians influence other musicians, and painters use techniques established by previous masters, so do writers learn how to craft prose by reading the works of others. Now, our house without a book is like a room without windows, and nobody wants to stay in a room without windows. So that is where the disadvantage of not reading lies. When you don't read a book, you are confined in a house with no windows. The first disadvantage that we will see is lack of knowledge. Yes, my friend, if you are not a person who if you're a person who is not interested in reading books, then probably you are missing some important knowledges about your career or life, etc. Book give us all necessary information, which is directly related to our problems. Long time ago, I had a fear of failure, and my parents suggested me to read a book that is named I Can Win. And reading that book, it motivated me and encouraged me to accept failure as a part of success. The next one is wastage of free time. If you're more active in social media and mass media for getting every day to day information, then your chances is increased to get in depression. Instead of this, you can read motivational books of successful people. Cultural ignorance. Now here's an example of not reading a book can lead to cultural ignorance. If you read a book written by a Japanese author, you can understand the culture of Japanese, and you can compare it by another author who is westernized. So in Japan, some of the people, the boys mainly, are reserved and they do not express love in a public display. Therefore, if you compare it with a Western writer, you can see how a Western guy or a Western male would show their love or affection to a woman in a different way than a Japanese culture. Therefore, reading can increase a person's cultural idea. Now, here are some steps to help a person read more books or to become a reader. The first one is read only what you attract. There are different genres of books written by different authors. If you're attracted to romantic genre or comedy or thriller or murder mystery or comedy or comic books, there are many genres, and you should be able to read only what you attract. Therefore, you'll have a way to be interested in book. The next one is feel free to skip some pages. Many of the people might think that why skip a page? But sometimes I can understand as a new starting beginning reader, you can face some difficulty in some pages. Therefore, feel free to skip pages. The third one is setting a reading goal. When you have a reading goal, you are ultimately motivated to finish that goal to feel accomplished. Therefore, it will become into a habit, and that is where our fourth rule lies. Make reading part of your daily habit. So if you set a goal, reading turns into a habit. Because if you set a goal, you would want to accomplish it, and you can only accomplish it if you perform it in a habitual way. And the fifth one is use of your free time. Many people would rather invest their time in watching cartoons, televisions, gaming, but instead you can read a book, gain more knowledge, and successfully use your bored or leisure time. The last and least is try finishing certain amount of books in a week. If you're a beginner, you can finish that certain amount of books in years or maybe 2 years. For me personally, I am committing myself to reading 2 books a year. One of my favorite authors, Sidney Sheldon, once said, "Life is like a book. It is filled with suspense. If you have no idea what is going to happen, you have no idea what is going to happen until you turn the page." It's a great line, and it is related with the book and also your personal life. And if you are interested in murder mystery, mysterious books, then please do read my suggested favorite book by my favorite author, Tell Me Your Dreams, because this is the book that ultimately got me hooked to reading. And if you are not interested in my type of genre, there are books for romantic and adventure, and you can grab any book you want and start reading. Thank you for listening. I hope this presentation motivated you to read a book and finish it on time.